In this video now we'll look at applications of the quadratic equation, so more story problem type questions. So in the first question here, the path of a missile shot into the air from a ship is modeled by the quadratic function, and we see that here. And we should automatically know what the y-intercept is. Here, 44.1, and the a value is negative, so the graph points down. Y represents the height in meters, and x is time in seconds. So time and height, and right here. On this one, we know that it starts at height of 44.1. So how long will it take for the missile to hit the ocean? So we need to find our time here. And after that, how long will it take the missile to attain a height of 122.5 meters? So in order to solve this question here, we'll factor. Now our equation has negative 4.9. We want to get rid of that if possible. And we find that we could divide negative 4.9 evenly into each of the other terms. So dividing negative 4.9 by itself will give us 1x squared. Dividing into 39.2 would have negative 8. And then dividing into 44.1 will be negative 9. Now we'll make our equation. So we want to find when we have a height of 0. Oops. And now we factor. Factoring, we have two answers, 9 and negative 1. The negative 1 would refer back to here. Well, that can't be an answer because it's referring to time. So we reject this answer. And we go with our 9 seconds. So it would take 9 seconds for the missile to hit the ocean. Now the next part of the question is asking how long will it take. Now that we solve the first part of the equation, we'll go on to part B, and we need to know when will the missile have a height of 122.5 meters. We'll take the height and put back into our original equation. So 122.5 4.9x squared plus 39.2x plus 44.1. And it's going to be the same steps. We're going to bring the 122 across. It becomes negative, so we'll subtract it from 44.1, and we'll divide everything by 4.9. And what we find is that this is the equation we have now. We brought the 122 across, so we get negative 78.4. Divide every term by the a value, and we're down with x squared minus 8x plus 16. So 2 factors 16 that multiply to give us 16 and add to give us negative 8, and we find that the answer is 4. So when it's a double answer like this, what we have is that it happens at our vertex at only one time. So it must be here at 4 seconds when you get a height of 122.5. And you should state your answer then here at the end of each of these questions. Next example, an osprey dives towards water to catch a salmon. Its height above water in meters 2 seconds after it begins its dive is given by the following formula. And we're asked to determine the time it takes for it to return to a height of 20 meters. Here's our equation. We want the time it takes to return. So it's going to be 2 times, if you look across, when you're going to get a height of 20 meters. Here on the way down for the dive, catches the fish, and then on the way back up. $20 meters is your new height, so you put that in for the equation. So you bring your 20 across. And you will be left with 25. Divide everything here by 5. You want your A value to be 1. If you can factor it. If not, then you have to use decomposition. And 2 factors of 5 to add to give you negative 6. Or minus 1 and minus 5. Or negative 1, negative 5, I should say. And there are 2 times when you get a height. Whoops. 2 times when you get a height of 20 meters. At 1 second and at 5 seconds. So time it takes to return to a height of 20 meters is 5 seconds. So it will take 5 seconds. Last example is a revenue style question. So 16 people signed up for a trip. The revenue for a trip was modeled by this function here. X represents the number of additional people who sign up. How many additional people must sign up for revenue to reach $40,000? So 40,000 is our new revenue. And we'll put that in here. So $40,000 has to come across. It becomes negative. So after the 40,000 is brought over, you're left with negative 1,600. Divide everything here by negative 100, since it is a factor of each term. If it didn't divide it evenly, then we have to try and find another method to solve it, probably decomposition. Doing that, we're left with x squared, subtract 8x plus 16. Factoring this down, we find that negative 4 is a multiple. We multiply negative 4 times negative 4, we get positive 16. Add it, get negative 8. And you end up getting the same answer on both sides. So there's only one answer then. And what that means at the end is that 4 people are needed for the revenue to go up to $40,000.